My name is Zvony Nagy, and I'm happy to be the new music director at King of Glory. I've served as a church musician throughout my life. I'm also a college professor, scholar, and performer on piano and organ. I do composed music intended for church and concert use. I'm really happy to be here. So for me, making music has always been a very kind of spiritual activity, almost like a prayerful, meditative experience, especially in church settings, where music, I believe, has special power to draw people closer to God, to draw them into God's presence, to come closer to that divine experience. So a metaphor that I like to use is that music tends to be invisible to our human eyes. We hear it, we can measure frequencies and quantify things, but at the end of the day, it's invisible, especially like, for instance, with a pipe organ here at a church here, that it's up here in the gallery, so people walk in and may not even know what's going on. So for me, that was that first experience that I encountered when I was a child, walking into a huge cathedral back in Europe, where I heard organ sounds, but didn't know where they were coming from. So especially, with the pipe organ combined with the human voice, I think that's like the perfect kind of combination in which we use our instruments that God has given us. That is our voices coupled with the pipe organ, which is kind of built in the same way, producing sound using air, right, coming through the pipes. And that combination has been, organ, voices, very inspiring to me as a musician. When I was a kid, kind of walking into a big cathedral, so that kind of overwhelming sound that emanated from, the depths of a huge building, and for a young boy, that was kind of both terrifying and awe-inspiring at the same time. So at that point, I did not play the instrument, but I started singing in the church choir as a children's choir. So there was one afternoon that I just decided to follow a nun, that directed the choir at the time. I just followed her and along the stairs, and found myself in the organ balcony similar to this one, and the organ was on, and so there was no one in the church. So I was brave enough to just jump at the console, and I just pressed a note, and it just produced this sound that was just like, wow, that's it. I just want to do that. This is just amazing. So that's how the story with the pipe organ began. But then later on, as a composer, performer, I was just drawn to composers and pieces that had this connection with mysticism and spirituality, almost as if I wanted to prove to myself in some ways what is that force that is drawing me closer to God. As Bach himself, there's an anecdotal story that he wrote music to prove to himself the existence of God. So one of the things that just even now is so inspiring to me, and one of the reasons that I felt called to serve a King of Glory, is that when I play a worship service or conduct or just partake in that experience, for me that becomes a prayerful experience. So it's more than just executing notes, the right notes at the right time. So the most beautiful thing that can happen is when something unexpected occurs. I think there's so much potential and so much space for the music program and the worship here to excel and really draw the community, the church community, the neighborhood, the city of Dallas, and the Metroplex to really come and experience something really, really uniquely beautiful. So I very much look forward to building on a great tradition that I find here at the church, and I'm grateful for all the support I have received from my colleagues, from previous organists and choral directors, So I pray that the God guides us in the right direction to build on that, to continue building the music program so that the community, besides the choir we have and bell choir and children's choir, that we grow in those areas even more. Another opportunity that I see is to think of alternative worship styles that would complement what's already here, and that would not only complement, but that would build on the premise of a very kind of spiritually inspiring service that would, as I was saying, with music for me that would draw people closer to God. So kind of really working together to figure out in what other ways we could make music to praise God.